Nature. Such a peaceful thing. It really sucks when it's disturbed by loud noises. That was a quiet truck. It likes nature. If you like nature, you should buy one of those. Ampere. Vehicles. The Silicon Valley way. Tesla, Nikola, Workhorse, Rivian, Hummer. Electric trucks seem to be all the rage now. Granted, none of them have actually hit the market, but it seems like they're just like the new thing. So it seemed appropriate to try and make one in automation. And yes, electric truck. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but consider, there's no electric vehicles in automation. How are you gonna make this work? And to you, I answer with a post I found on the Beam.NG forum, giving detailed instructions on how to edit the files to make your car behave and sound like an electric car. Now we're going to be putting this to the test, and we'll see how accurately it's able to hold up to an electric car, but I am pretty excited for this. I think it's going to be pretty cool. And as it is an electric car, money is no object. If we want to make this thing bulletproof, or at least try to make it bulletproof, we can. We can spend as much money as we want. So we're gonna kind of do that. We're gonna make it aluminum and give it monocoque and light AHS steel. Maybe that wasn't the right choice, but you get the point. I'm not gonna be worried about cost saving here. But we are gonna do front longitudinal, and I'm a little torn on the suspension because I want it to be able to have, you know, some load capacity, some ability to be a utility vehicle. But I'm not really well versed in the suspension setups of trucks. I'm much more of a sedan, hatchback kind of person, so a lot of this is going to be guesswork. Stu McPherson and a multi-link. That's quite a combo. Okay, so this is going to be the EUV V1. I tried to hit an E and somehow I hit a pound and a W. Wow, I hit all of the keys around it. Now, obviously, if it's an electric car, most of this stuff isn't gonna matter, but it does take some of the core specs that we finish off with and apply them to the finished product after we play with the files. So whatever horsepower we end up with off this engine is going to probably be the same figure or around the same figure. I have read some stuff about it coming out less, so let's just give it a V10 and just nuke the performance out of this thing. That being said, I'm not worried about efficiency or anything like that because, let's be honest, who cares about fuel efficiency when your car is going to be electric? Alright, with that in mind, let's go for a 11-liter V10. That's a big boy. Let's make sure we get that RPM up. I mean, nothing's going to really matter here. Part of the editing of it is to send it up to 20,000 RPM, just so that, you know, it can work off one gear and get the full performance there. Another part of this is that we do not turbo it, and I'm not going to mess with VVT just because I really don't think that's going to have much of an effect. You can't turbo it if you're doing this, so keep that in mind if you decide to follow along at home. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw everything in here, and we'll throw premium in just for the sake of our tuning. We'll do a tubular dual. We'll do nothing here because it's not going to need that anyway. Okay, 582, and if we give it a lot more exhaust, because it's not going to have exhaust anyway, so who really cares, we can get it up to a 709, it looks like. And just to keep this thing running, I'm going to go ahead and send the quality all the way up there, and maybe a little quality here too. It would be nice to reach 1,000 horsepower. What else can we do? Maybe bring down... the pistons are kind of dying, and if I bring this up to maximum RPM, yeah, that's not gonna hold. So we'll just redline it into a wall at 917 horsepower. That should be okay, and then we can get a little more out of the fuel mixture. Again, not worried about anything here because, well, it's not going to actually run on fuel. Theoretically, of course. I'm sure Beam.NG will still recognize it as running on fuel because, I mean, we're a little out of what's supported by doing this. So, I mean, this looks to be pretty good. Let's hear how it sounds just for the sake of it. Obviously, it's going to sound totally different. That's a mean sounding engine. Unfortunately, it's gonna sound much more like a whisper by the time we're done with it. So, as for the design, I want this to look very sterile. And I mean that in the way that a Tesla looks very sterile. I just want it to be simplistic, but also kind of carrying with it a sense that it's evoking the future. I'm a little nervous about this because there's not a whole lot of really futuristic looking parts in here. And unfortunately, I didn't stock up on the mods that would have been most effective for this job, so we're gonna have to make do. That just kind of looks a little odd. Maybe if we paired it with another unit that was a bit fuller, I should say. Now, I don't want a grill, but I want something that sort of appears as a grill, just to, you know, make it seem a bit more familiar, I should say. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know, there's something about this that just really gets me. I'm thinking, I'm trying to think, like, from a consumer perspective, I think, like, the biggest turnoff for the Cybertruck is just how untruck-like it looks, you know? And if you're trying to hit that market, you don't want to make something look so wildly different than what's the norm. So I'm trying to think of ways to make this look a bit more familiar to someone who would be, you know, traditionally buying trucks. That might be too much. I'm thinking it looked better with, like, the clean look before it was overdone. It feels like it's all getting too narrow. Like, it's just pulling the car to the center, and I don't particularly like that. I'd like something to kind of pull it back out. You know what I think the problem might be? I think I have the weight too high. Let's try that. This is gonna throw a lot of stuff off, but let's see. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, that's the one for sure. There we go. That's the front. Despite the effort I put in, I'm sure a lot of you are gonna hate it. Okay, so door handles, we'll keep them simple, nice, sleek Tesla handles. Now, taillights, this is going to be quite an event. You know, first off, let's go ahead and just put a taillight up here. Now, what I'm thinking could be a cool design is to grab this hail light and rotate it 90 degrees and stick it here. That's got turn signals, taillights now, and it keeps some of the same aesthetic as the front. The problem is how do I make it look all sleek now? They can come out the bottom. That's kind of neat. Ish, I guess. So now let's do some body molding. Let's get this piece in here. This is a good tailgate piece. I thought it was pretty good. So I can just delete that. And there's your letters. So I think that just about covers everything design-wise. I'm pretty sure it does. I'm going to assume that this electric car doesn't need a roof antenna, so we're just going to leave that out of here. And that just means side indicators, and we're done. Alright, well that's looking pretty good to me. Okay, so on to the drivetrain. I'm thinking we're going to do a 4x4. We need a dual clutch for the file edits to work. So we're going to throw that on there. We'll put an electric LSD on there. Medium compounds, alloy. Alright, we're going to do vented discs with 6 pistons in the front, vented discs with 4 pistons on the rear, and we'll see how that goes. We're probably going to need them up to max with a bit of a generous pad type. We will do a semi-clad underneath with none of that. We'll put a full back seat in there because that's where I'd want to sit. And we'll do a premium with a premium infotainment. We're going to have electric variable power steering, ESC with launch control. Just going to go ahead and call that psychopath mode. Yep, that's copyright Ampere psychopath mode. And yeah, active sport, semi-active, and this is where we're at. With some beefy wide tires, we can get it up to 0.98. Don't particularly love that, but that is where we're at here. Okay, so that's our ride height. If somebody buys it, they can lift it if they want to. Alright, so at this point where it's mostly clearance and brake fade. Brake fade's an issue. Alright, we'll put a solid disc on the rear. And we'll send a 4-piston maximum size on the front. How's that doing? Okay, now brake force is high. Well, I'm not going to a drum. Okay, well that solved the brake fade. Engine's full, don't care. Wheel spin, that needs to be fixed possibly. Clearance, wheel spin. Okay, I don't think this is going to have much of an effect on the final product. I really don't know how these gears are going to actually be done. I'm kind of curious to see what happens if I leave it up there. Because essentially what it's going to do is just wipe all these gears out and just give us one. So theoretically this shouldn't even matter. I'm going to leave it like this, just out of curiosity. Okay, nobody wants it here. It's too expensive. To be fair, it does cost $1.7 million at the moment, but the material costs are $30,000. Let's just assume that we are really good at playing the books and managed to get this down to about $70K. To be fair though, most of this price is probably engine related, and the engine isn't going to be like that because it's going to be electric. Actually, before we test it, let's just take one final look over here. We got 1100 horsepower. This is going to all change. That stuff is. Obviously, this stuff doesn't matter. Ignore that. And it weighs 5,500 pounds. Really, all that's going to matter is the drivetrain, the suspension, the weight, and the power. Everything else we're going to change. So with that, I'm going to go edit the files. I'm not going to show that just because it's kind of a mess, and the instructions on the forum post are pretty clear. So if you want to do this, consult the forum post. I am going to jump now into Beam.NG. Alright, so here we are in Beam, and this is our electric truck. Although I will say, I did go down a little bit of a rabbit hole, and I have another version right off camera right now that's a little bit different. Before I show that one though, I want to just go over a couple issues that occurred trying to convert this to an electric car. So first off, the sound is a bit weird. So following the instructions directly results in a kind of this sound, which isn't strictly speaking the best. But that's alright, because really, this one is not quite as cool as the other one. This is the other one, and you may notice, yeah, the windows are a bit messed up, but it does have a full interior. I decided to play around with the interior mod. I figured this is a forward-thinking automation car. It may as well, you know, be forward-thinking in some other ways too. So it's got a full interior going on there. It's got a nice little wraparound glass thing going on. It's a bit weird the way you have to mask the windows out in automation, so it's not perfect. But for what it is, I'm pretty happy with it. I did have to go in and manually trim around the windows, which was not fun, but all in all, I think it's pretty cool. Also, this one has some slight changes. I got some help from one of the admins on the Discord server, Kodo, and he helped me figure all this stuff out. He's had a lot more experience with it, so it was definitely nice to have a helping hand with it. But this one has fixed audio. It used a different method that just ripped the audio straight from the electric car already in Beam. And while he was in there, he fixed a couple other issues it was having, like engine overheating and oil issues, which for an electric car aren't really, you know, things that you would probably have to deal with. I mean, overheating maybe, but definitely not engine oil and coolant and stuff like that. Anyway, so this is our true electric truck, and it sounds a lot less awful. But yeah, as you can see, it has one massive drive gear, 20,000 RPM now. It launches pretty quick and it gets going pretty quick. It's definitely about as close as you can get to an electric car in automation. And I mean, it doesn't drive the best. I mean, to be fair, I didn't exactly give it the best suspension layout, but one thing for sure is that, can it drift or what? It can just go. I mean, this is a bad place for drifting, but you know, it drifts really well. Trust me on that. I'm just impressed with it. I think what would be kind of fun though is to drag race it against some of the high performance cars from last season and the rest of the Autopolitan, just to see how this truck fares against some cars like the supercars or something. Also, in regards to its drifting, yeah, I just realized the ESC was on, so that's definitely not helping my case. But yeah, it definitely has the ability to slide, that's for sure. This thing is ridiculous. Point is that this thing is really awesome, and yeah, let's go see how a drag race goes if I take it up against some of the more high-performance supercars. Alright, let's start off simple and drag race it against the Wallaby SS. Alright, let's do this drag race. Yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh man, that's destructive. Now, this should be an interesting one. Let's take it against the original Fatale. Alright. The Fatale is definitely gonna die. Actually, I don't know, I could die here. Wait, what? That was weird. What the heck happens? What? This is... Hold on. What? I have questions. That was really weird. Okay, that's what it was supposed to do. Okay, that was really, really weird. Okay, let's go ahead and try that again. Oh look, the Fatale is already on its way back. Can't say I've ever done that before. That was definitely a first. Let's not have a repeat. Oh yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah, okay, it's definitely got more power. But that launch though, that wasn't too much worse. 0.4 seconds slower. Let's try the SLFE. Yep, we're good. How far ahead are we? Oh my gosh. 0.8 seconds faster. Alright, this one could definitely be a challenge. So we have the Weep Deco X over there. Okay. Maybe not. Okay. I really thought that was gonna be closer, my goodness. This thing is basically a 10-second car. This is a fast truck. But now that we've gotten an idea on how this truck stacks up, what could we do with it now? Just like for one last thing. I did mess up. I should have put a tow hitch on here. That was a mistake not doing that. Alright, so this is what I've come up with, and I really don't think this is gonna work. But let's find out. Yeah, that suspension's doing great. Maybe it'll work. It sounds like it's working great. I think this is mostly a suspension issue. I would say definitely not a performance issue. Like, it's definitely able to tow. Just maybe there's a better way to set it up. I'm a little afraid of hitting the brakes. I'm pretty sure whoever's in the back seat's just gonna die. Let's find out. Oh my gosh. Holy crap. We just lost all the Bulgos. They're all dead. That one really had a bad time. Anyway, that's that test dealt with. It can definitely tow. Perhaps, though, this would be a better candidate for testing the true towing ability. See, you can just drive along. It's like nothing's even really happening. Everything is totally fine back here. You see, you can just floor it. You can corner any like you ever normally would. Just oh wait, what's happening back there? Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, it's actually holding together. I could have sworn we had a curtain. We've lost that, and the door went shut. Uh-oh, this can't end well. I mean, it could end worse. It's not. Uh-oh. Protect the truck. Oh my gosh. You know, I'd say that was a successful towing experiment. Can't get this kitchen off my bumper. I haven't really addressed how it handles. First off, the suspension's a little bad. Hence, every time it goes over a speed bump, the step on the back just flies right off. But it does drift fantastically. It's a very fun drift car, and it doesn't drive bad. You just gotta get used to it, and the suspension could be a little firmer. That's for sure. Overall, uh-oh, I had to get around to that stupid thing. Who left that there? Anyway, overall, it's solid. I'm very happy with it, if for no other reason than not only does it have an interior, but it's electric. And it runs, and it keeps losing its tires. This is definitely one of the coolest things I think that I've made for this series. And it's really got me wanting now to make like a Model S, like a P100D or something. But yeah, all in all, this thing is awesome, and I really hope that you guys think that it's as cool as I do and enjoyed this video, because this was definitely a blast. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about seeing a Model S. I'm thinking maybe that would be a cool addition for Season 4 to actually go into the tournaments. But yeah, I think just this electric conversion, this is really cool. And it works surprisingly well. Like, this came out of automation. I'm still just kind of amazed by that. And it's also a really fun car too. But anyway, I'm gonna end this episode here. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.